All right, everyone, welcome back to Schmattz Outdoors. In this episode in the fur shed series here, I'm going to redo my video on how I wash my furs. My Coyote one I didn't realize was that dark until I was editing it, and it was too late already by then. So what I have today is I have a badger. I wash all my badgers. This one doesn't look really all that dirty, but I'll show you how dirty he really is once we get going here. So I'm gonna go it's a pretty simple process. I'm gonna go kind of step by step how I actually do it. Once I get going, we're gonna put you on my chest mount here so you guys can kind of see as I'm looking here. We're gonna try and make sure that you guys can see. But yeah, we're gonna do this badger here. So what I have is a badger. He's fully skinned. So I always skin my badger before I wash them. They end up being a real bugger to skin if you do it afterwards. And they typically don't dry very fast, you know, especially like the nice back fur. This is a fall caught badger. He's caught here at the end of November. So he's not the poofiest badger. That's not the point of this video. As you can see, he's not real dirty. He's got a little bit of dirt in his tail there. And he, you know, kind of as he look like he's got some dirt up here on his head. You know, but overall, like, he looks fairly clean. But once we, you know, like right here, there is a little bit of dirt clumps like in his actual hair there. I don't pull those out because badgers have their fur is real easy to pull. So you start pulling on some of them dirt clumps, you'll actually pull the hair out. So my tools of the trade, just a standard 5-gallon bucket, and I use a gauntlet style glove. I don't really care which ones you use. These I like because you can have one on, one off, that type of deal. I do have the polar ones. I forget what the name of them is. You know, that have like they're green and then they have the strap that goes up over your back. I do use those on occasion, but I found that I like these a little bit better for doing this. All right, guys, so I think we're ready to go here. Just got a standard 5-gallon pail, and we got our badger here. Gonna throw him right in there. I don't really care how you get your water, but I have a outside spigot, a freeze-proof spigot on my house here. So I'm trying to stay low so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So I'm just filling it up, but they actually want to float. So then I'm just gonna push them down with my hand here a little bit to make sure that he gets under the water. And we're gonna get this, maybe put 4 gallons in a 5-gallon pail here. Okay. And then just as simple as just go out in my yard here a little bit. This all slopes away from my house. So just get out away from my house a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna try and get so I don't get too wet while I'm videoing here. So he's just floating. Okay, all I'm gonna do is I'm literally just kind of going like this with my hands. And I'm only gonna do it with one hand so you guys could see. And I'm just kind of like going like this and kind of, you know, squeezing and twisting at the same time here. And basically I'm just I'm soaking him, but I'm also rinsing him and scrubbing him kind of little all at once here. So while I'm doing this here, I want to make a point. So I do this exact same process on anything that needs it. So muddy raccoons, fox and coyotes, if they're dirty and or bloody, you know, I'll do this on them. And I do every badger regardless. So I don't know how well. We're gonna grab my headlamp here quick. So I just got my headlamp here. I'm hoping I can show how dirty that water actually got. So you guys could kind of see, you know, My hand's an inch under the water. There's about 2 inches. So this badger looked fairly clean, but you could see how dirty that water is. You know, and it's funny, even like a standard coyote or what you think is a clean looking coyote, the water will look like this almost every time, even when you think they look clean. All right, we're gonna put my headlamp down. All right, so now what I'm doing, I'll just get around till I get his head to the top here. So I start at the top, here it is. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of take my hand and pinch him and kind of rub. So I'm just kind of in the water, I'm actually like scrubbing him. And then I'll do the other side. And I just kind of, I'm pulling up a little out of the water each time I switch hands. And I'm just kind of slowly working my way down. I'll try and kind of pull off to the side here so you guys can see. If I feel any like clumps of dirt, now is when I break them up. They're soft, you can break them off. Okay, I'm getting right down to the tail. The tail was the dirtiest part of this guy, or what looked to be the dirtiest part. Okay. So now we got our coyote. We're gonna kind of squeegee him out the best I can. See right here, he's got a little bit of dirt kind of on his belly. So we're just gonna give that a little extra scrub. Here's oh, that's a burr. All right, I do try to pick the burrs out of them if I can, unless they're like super muddy. What I'm doing is I'm just squeezing and squeegeeing the water down off the bottom. Okay, before we do anything with that guy, I want to show you, like I said, that badger actually looked fairly clean. But now, I put my hand in there, you know, there's my hand. You know, I'm 2 inches in and you can't see my fingers down in there. That's how dirty that water gets. You know, trying to keep so you guys could see what I'm trying to show here, but like I said, you could just see how dirty that water was. And that badger was fairly clean looking. Imagine what like a dirty one would be. All right, back to our animal here. So I got my badger, he's dripping here. So what I try to do, so that's basically the main wash. But what I do here is just grip onto the head. You know, get a good grip. I got my fingers kind of inside of his mouth hole. And then we're just gonna start and kind of whip. And I'm just kind of snapping my hand down like that, and it just kind of snaps them. And I'm trying to get any of that water that we just put in there. You know, you seen how dirty it was. Well, if I leave that in his fur, if I rinse him again, it's just gonna pollute the water, dirty the water up right away with all the water that's on him. So what I did, I snap him by the head for a few snaps, then I snap him by the tail. Now I'm gonna snap him I switch back and forth a few times here. And again, I do this with all the fur, just kind of snapping any of that dirty water out of there. All right, that was kind of the pre-wash, or the main wash. Now we're gonna do the rinse. And I'm trying to keep so you guys can see. So again, now we're gonna put maybe 3.5, 4 gallons in here again. Typically, I find you don't need as much the second time. Okay, we're gonna go do the same thing. Right back out here in the middle of the yard. And we're gonna do the same process here. I'm just kind of grabbing and kind of rolling like this. You know, and I'm just basically agitating it. And this is just kind of going to rinse off any of the last little bits of dirt. But now, if I turn my, if I put my hand in there, you know, I'm a full hand deep and you can still see my hand in there. So that's what I want. I want my water to come out pretty much clean here. If it's real dirty like it was the first time, I will, especially on badgers, I will do this, basically do the same process one more time. You know, I'll do like a second full wash and then I'll do this rinse one last time. Most like fox and coyotes and raccoons and everything, you can get them pretty clean that first time that this more just is a rinse. Okay. Again, we're gonna kind of just do the same kind of scrub here. So I'm kind of scrubbing, but I'm also feeling for any dirt clumps, you know, any bumps, burrs, anything as I'm doing this. Okay. We're kind of squeegee him off. I'm just squeegeeing him off the best I can because I don't want to whip his water in my face, you know what I'm saying? But now if I dump this water, you know, it's dirty, it's still dirty, but it's fairly clean. I mean, you could see the pail down in there compared to what it was that first time. Okay. And we're just about done here. Now we're gonna give this guy a good whipping here. I want to get as absolutely much water off of this guy as I can. Like I said, I'm done washing now. We're just gonna try and get him dried off the best I can here, because the more I can get off out here, the less time it's gonna take him hanging drying in my basement. And I will not flush a badger when he's wet at all. I've had several instances where if the hide is still wet or the hair is still wet, it tends to want to pull out on my flushing beam. All right, we're getting a couple more good whips on this side. All right, now you kind of see how his hair is all kind of clumped up there. That it's all kind of stuck together just like your hair does. But now that guy really shines, especially in the sunlight here. Okay, last step in the process here. I'm gonna take the pail in the badger in my basement. What I have is up here, I just have some nails pounded in the floor joists. I just find one. So I just hung him on a nail up here, and then I just set my pail right below him down here. And I will let him drip dry. Like a coyote, typically 4 to 6 hours, you know, they'll dry. You know, like you can see his tail is pretty dry, but he's pretty wet up here. And that's typically, badgers will take, to me, like 10 hours. Now, like I said, once he's hanging here, he'll just slowly start to drip off the bottom. And that's what the pail is for, just to catch any of that water. And I will actually, I have a fan right over here. I will turn a fan on this guy, and I will actually blow a fan on him. You know, I'll set it like way over there, having it blowing real slow, more at the back of the badger. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much everything. I hope this video is a little better than the last one, explains things a little bit better than the last one did. But yeah, that's my process. So you don't need a wash machine. If you guys have a wash machine, good for you. I have zero place to put one that I can actually get a drain out to our septic system. So this is how I have to keep how I clean my fur. If you guys still have any questions on what I do, leave your comments down below. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next Schmattz Outdoors video.